Paulo Miguel Ferreira Magalhães. He is a researcher at the CIJE, Center for Legal and Economic Research, Faculty of Law, University of Porto. And his proposal is called Planetary Condominium, the legal framework for the common home of humanity.
Hi everybody. Now it's time to propose you the challenge of thinking Earth as an immense condominium. One of the core drivers that put us in the situation as a tragedy of commons is the reason it's because the work of nature is invisible in our society. And why? Mainly because we look at the planet as a territory. And our planet is much more than a territory. He has a system of support that supports life, that is global, that is intangible, and that is unknown for law until today. And for so, in the Anthropocene, we need to consider these two things. And we must look for solutions with other objects that are intangible, like the Earth system. And we have already solutions, for example, in copyright law, where the division between the book and idea was the solution to build a society of knowledge that we have now. And why can we use this solution to organize the relation between the nature and the work of the nature? The ecosystems that are in service of the ecosystems. And by this way, to reintroduce the work of the nature in our economy. Our proposal is to recognize the Earth system as a common, intangible, natural heritage of humankind. And now we have tools to do this, to measure the state of the Earth system as the safe operating space of humankind. And for what? With this, we want to create a platform where all the negative impacts everyone made on the Earth system are combined with the positive impacts. And the first time we can introduce the positive impacts in the economy. And we want to start to compensate all the positive impacts that someone of us made, and also to internalize all the hidden costs that human activities have on the biogeophysical cycles. And how can we do it? With two different legal regimes. We propose to use the system of the condominium. The success of the condominium becomes from two different divisions. First, we have a functional division, and only after we made the special division. First, we define that we have common structures, we have common systems that are under a common regime property. And after we made the special division, and the result is that inside the private ownership, you have common structures, you have common systems. And in the planet is precisely the same. We have the planet with a territory that is already divided between states, but we have a system that is common, and we must understand that in my territorial waters, the biogeophysical cycles are common. And if you have a clear division between the tangible water and the intangible quality of the water, of the biogeophysical cycles, we can have a division that organizes our interdependence and to make of this into a symbiosis. And we propose to be the administrator of this condominium, the United Nations Trusteeship Council. First, he will have the task of managing this new object of law. He must manage all the positive and negative contributions from everyone in this and make compensations between states in this system. 3, he has to be the management of all the global catastrophic risks. And this way, we will try to put the environment and the environmental question on the same level of peace and security. And as a last message, only to say that to introduce the heritage, the intangible heritage in our society is the tool to introduce what really matters in our society. We need the intangible to deal with our future. Our future must have intangible because our relations happen in a global scale through intangible cycles. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You can hold on to that for a little bit longer.
Yes.
Thank you. The jury, Susan?
Thank you very much.
Thank
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Very good. You've presented a legal framework for
legal,
this
yes.
condominium. I'd like you to stretch a little bit and tell me a little bit on how you define and measure the health and functioning of that condominium, particularly the interacting components of the global commons, the largest of which is the global ocean, which currently has no voice. And so I'd like to hear you go beyond the legal framework to say, if this legal framework is going to be successful, you got to measure the components of this condominium and on a continuous basis.
Sorry. What we are proposing is to use the knowledge that we have today. Before the planet boundaries, in many laws, we have in the preambles, we talk about sustaining life, the sustaining life on Earth, or to talk about Pachamama, to talk about Mother Earth. We are talking about the same thing along the history of humankind, and now we have one tool that is a scientific tool, the best we have now, to translate what are the core drivers of the system. We cannot separate the ocean from the atmosphere. You know that the biggest problem in the ocean comes from the atmosphere, that is acidification. So it's only one system. We cannot separate atmosphere from oceans. It's only one system. And the core drivers are, you can say it's a genetic code of the system. So with this tool, with maximums and minimums for each one, we can start to measure and make a management of the use of the system. It's what we want. We want the system to organize the use of the system. And this use is not only negative, it's also positive. And this will make all the difference in the economy, because for the first time, to make benefits on the system, we'll have economic visibility. And for the first time in the economy, we will change one economy of destruction of nature to build one economy also of building and restoring the earth system. This is the great change. It's to change the rule of the game. The more you destroy, the more you use the biogeophysical cycles, the more you earn for a new rule of the game, that is, the less you use the biogeophysical cycles, the more benefits you make to the biogeophysical cycles, more you can earn. With a big difference that in this case, my private benefits are also common benefits.
Thank you. Another question? Rajma?
Paulo, how would the entire framework around the condominiums also address global challenges like jobless growth or political conflict and unrest? Did you make the assumption that peace and security are taken care of and global risks will come within this legal framework?
All the risks are interconnected. If you have a base where all the contributions could be visible, we are working on the conditions to avoid conflicts. Because we cannot separate in the future, cannot separate the conflicts of war from conflicts, ecological conflicts and so on. So all the things are interconnected. If you have a system where the things could be happen, where the common is defined, okay? The common place, this new common heritage, that is the territory of humanity, that has no territory at this moment, the territory of humanity is the planet. We could find a territory, intangible territory for humanity that will be there for the next generations, could be the platform where we can talk about this, that represents the next generation in nowadays.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know there's a quick question.
To follow up on
Okay.
this, a lot depends upon the indicators that you might have for these planetary boundaries.
Yes.
And those indicators, that would have to be developed. They'd have to be robust. They'd have to be scientifically validated and based on continuous global observations.
Of course.
So how do the indicators become standardized and accepted in this decision-making process that was just talked about?
Yeah, quick reply to that.
I will try to be quick. For me, as a jurist, I know what are a legal presumption, okay? A legal presumption is the best knowledge that we have now. Could not be the best, but it was the most important that in this moment, all us agree on this. In the future, we can agree in a different measure, okay? But the most important, because we are humans, and science is also one representation of reality, it's not reality. As law, it is also representation, okay? So we are talking about human way to talk about reality. We need one that is more able to represent the reality we have now. And it will not be the last, I hope.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, yeah,